It's time for Baby and Toddler Instructions with host Blythe Lipman. Blythe is a nationally renowned infant and toddler expert who has over 30 years' experience helping moms and dads regain their sanity, teaching them how to survive, and giving them the confidence they need to be the best parents ever. From sleeping to crying to potty training to choosing a preschool and so much more. If you're a parent, Baby and Toddler Instructions is the show you've been looking for. Now here's your host, Blythe Lipman.
Clapping for the show. Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you might be in. Welcome to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I'm so happy you could tune in. My wonderful guest, Annie Pryor from Mommy Genius, is going to be with us in just a bit. We're going to talk about tummy bugs, and she's got a great book and so much more. Anyway, little housekeeping first. I'm so happy to hear that the snow is finally melting for all of you that have had such a rough winter. You know what? And the first day of spring is next Friday, March 20th, so I hope you never see another snowflake, maybe even again. Or maybe a little next year, who knows. But anyway, I hope everybody gets good weather. What a mess. It's been unseasonably warm here in the low 80s. Not going to complain. That's all I'm going to say about Arizona. Anyway, enough with the weather. There were a couple of recalls this week. The KJ Sportswear California recalled their children's pajamas. The pajamas fail to meet federal flammability standards and pose a risk of burn to children. And also the KTM North America has the same flammability issue. I thought they straightened this out years ago. I mean, this is not anything new. When these manufacturers make their pajamas or clothes, they really ought to look at the standards. Would save them a lot of trouble. Anyway, if you have pajamas from either one of these manufacturers, check out my website, mybestparentingadvice.com. I already have the recalls on there. I do keep them up to date. And if you do have any of these products, don't use them. Take them back to the store. Call the company. Get your money back. God forbid, we have to keep our children safe. Accidents can happen in a second. Anyway, so those were the only two recalls this week, which is a good thing. Also, I wanted to tell you, speaking of websites, babyinstructions.com, my other website, is under construction because if you have a website, make sure you check it out at least every other day. One of the links was broken. It was actually the theme for my website, which is basically how it looks pretty. And if you use a theme from a third-party person, I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but basically if you buy something from somebody and you use it on your site and that company goes out of business and you don't know it, it breaks your whole website. So Baby Instructions is under construction. I'm repairing it, but you can go to mybestparentingadvice.com. I just added a couple of new blog posts, which I know you'll love. They're funny. I had such a great time getting the information. One is called You Know You're a New Mom If, and the other one, of course, is You Know You're a New Dad If. The funny things you do when you're a new parent that you would say, nah, I'd never do that. Anyway, so I thought I would tell you about that. Let's see what else we have. Oh, my guest from January 7th this year was John Edwards, and he is offering a wonderful free 10-day parent transformation program online. If you go to his site, parentconsciously.com, and on Facebook, he has a wonderful page called Parents of Toddlers, Tweens, and Teens. You can find out more about this online course. John is great, and if you didn't hear the show, he lives in Australia. It was a great show, so pull up that podcast. It's from January 7th, 2015, and listen to all our other programs. We have great programs on TogiNet. I always take them on my walk. I plug my phone in and pull up a podcast while I'm taking a walk. I learned so much from all the different hosts. Also, what else do we have? Well, I wanted to share a couple articles this week. One was from The Bump. Some people call it the Mom's Bible, and it was really kind of cute. It was called The Biggest Mistakes New Moms Make. So I just wanted to tell you a couple that they brought out here. One was that you don't focus on your healing. And boy, isn't that the truth. Whether you have a C-section, whether you have a natural delivery, whatever you have, it's a lot of change to your body. So when your baby naps, I always say this, when your baby naps, you take a nap. So that's one of the things, one of the mistakes new moms make. Also, they stress about every little thing. The baby doesn't burp. The baby does burp. The baby doesn't sleep. Should you get him in the stroller this early? Can you take him out? Please, please, please don't stress. You know what? Listen to your gut. Mom's intuitions are great. And, of course, you're going to get all kinds of advice from everybody. Again, listen to your gut. Listen to your heart. Try something. Doesn't work. Try something else. That's why I wrote my books. Help My Baby Came Without Instructions and Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions. I have hundreds of tips. Every one doesn't work for every baby because every baby and toddler is different, but they do all work. So you know what? Check out my books. Also in this article, comparing your baby with your friend's baby. Don't do that. Do not do that. I mean, every baby's different. And just because one baby may be sleeping 6 hours and your baby may be a cat napper, you know what? They're all such miracles. Anyway, I just wanted to share a few of those tips from this article. If you have any tips about mistakes you thought you made as a new mom, call the show, 877-864-4869. Love to hear from you, or go to toginet.com. We have a chat line, and you can type if you're too chicken to call, but I love to talk to people on the phone, so give us a call. Also, if you do want more tips about what to do for your baby, your toddler, again, you can order my books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. They're on audible.com. And with spring coming, a lot of babies hatching. That makes a great gift. So I thought I would just share a little bit about what I do, as you hear every week. Also, there was another really interesting question that I got from a guest that I wanted to share with you, because I have parents send me questions all the time. And this one, the question was, how do I keep a toddler busy and well-behaved when they have to wait? Now, that's a tough one. I mean, so many times you go to the post office, you go to the pediatrician, you have to get your car serviced, and you take your toddler, and it's hard enough for us to wait, let alone a little toddler that, you know, they have no reference to time. 2 minutes could be like 10 hours to them. Anyway, I just wanted to share my information with you, what to do if you have to wait. You know what? Make it an adventure. If you're at a car dealership and you're waiting for your car to be serviced, take your child into the showroom and see how many tires they can count. If you're at a pediatrician's office, you know what? See how many things they can find that are red. Make it a game. Make it fun. You know what? If you're in the car, that's a big one, because so many times toddlers get so antsy in the car. Tell them to look out the window and see how many red cars they can find, blue cars they can find. If you make it all an adventure and you get excited about it too with your toddler, it will make your life so much easier, because let's face it, you know what? Everything doesn't happen 1, 2, 3, even though your toddler wants immediate gratification, and I guess we all like that too. So anyway, wanted to share those two things. Before I welcome my wonderful guest, let me tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Annie Pryor. She's a work-at-home mom with 3 young children, and she has this great invention that she brought to market, an informative website, and a published children's book, and we're going to talk about all those. Her company is Mommy Genius, and her invention is this great drying rack. It's terrific. The kitchen countertop accessory is a perfect place to dry so many things: bottles, baby bottles, water bottles, bibs, dish towels. I love it. I have one, and it's wonderful. There's so many things you can do with this drying rack. But she can tell you more about it when we talk to her. Also, like every mom, Annie gets upset when her kids are sick. She has her PhD in biochemistry from Ohio State University, and made it her mission to help educate the public about stomach bugs and how they're spread, you know, in order to decrease them. And she has a website called www.stopthestomachflu.com that gets 1,000 visitors each day, and Annie always responds to her emails. And if that wasn't enough, she wrote a children's book titled The Bunny That Couldn't Hop in 2014. And I have to tell you, she illustrated the book when she was in 6th grade for an English project, and of course got all A's. And you know what? It's a great book. I have it sitting here, and with Easter coming, what a great gift it would make to maybe put it in the Easter basket. It is the cutest thing, and I love the message, and I can't wait to talk to her about it, because to me, a message really hit me at the end of the book. So the bunny that couldn't hop. Let's see. Has she done anything else? I don't think there's time to do anything else. Annie, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being on here this morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you do so many things. You know what? How do you do it? How do you keep it all together?
Well, my house is a little messy. And I sometimes at the bus stop at the end of the day, I'm still in my pajamas.
Hey, you know what? I think it's great you admitted that. So many moms wouldn't admit that. I think it's perfect. Because
the bus stop is at my driveway, so I'm pretty lucky. I don't have to go too far.
And I'm sure the bus driver doesn't look out and go, oh, she didn't get dressed again. Must be a rough day. You know, it's when there's a house that you call messy, it's all relative, whoever thinks messy. But when I have sometimes gone into a house and the playroom is perfect and there's not a toy out, my first question is, do they play? I mean,
right.
Go ahead.
Oh, my house, my playroom looks nice and cleaned up like that. Every 2 weeks when I vacuum it and put everything back, and it stays nice for about 10 minutes.
But that's the way it's supposed to be. That's how the kids learn. I mean, if you have to, I think they should learn to clean up their toys, and I think there's ways to teach them, but to have the clean playroom every single second, it's not fun. Kids don't want to play with one toy at a time.
No.
Especially, it's funny because they have a plan. I was watching a little 3-year-old yesterday in her playroom, and I was watching what she was doing. I was talking to her mom, and she had a plan. She had one doll out, and then she had another doll out, and then she had, in her head you could see the wheels turning that she was going to do something with these toys. But my wheels are turning because we're going to have a first commercial break in just about 30 seconds, so I do not want to get into too much until after the break. But I'm so excited to be able to talk to Annie Pryor, the mommy genius, today on baby and toddler instructions. And when we come back, we have so many things to talk about. We're going to talk about the stomach flu. And again, you can call us at 877-864-4869 if you have a question for Annie. You want to say good morning or tell us what you do when your toddler says, Mommy, my tummy hurts. So we will be right back. The music is coming, and stay tuned.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
The Woohoo Radio Network presents the Diva Download with Tracy and Tasha. If you think Diva is all about attitude and drama, think again. The Diva Download is the premier online radio program where girls of all ages, shapes, sizes, and colors get together to redefine what it means to be a diva so that all girls can discover their inner diva and develop a healthy sense of self-worth and self-esteem. Being a true diva means you're diverse, involved, value-driven, and active. That's today's diva. If you want to celebrate the girl in your life through education, encouragement, empowerment, and entertainment, join us every week on Tuesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and celebrate the essence of being a girl only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
Did you ever wonder who invented the Band-Aid? In 1921, a man by the name of Earl Dixon was working as a cotton buyer for the Johnson & Johnson Company. Earl's wife, Josephine, was always cutting her fingers while cooking in the kitchen. So one day, he took a piece of gauze and attached it to the center of a piece of tape, covered it in crinoline to keep it sterile, and placed it over her wound. His boss, James Johnson, heard about Earl's little invention and decided to start mass-producing these Band-Aids to sell to the public. Johnson & Johnson decided to give Boy Scout troops free Band-Aids as a publicity stunt, which started the telewagging, and the rest is history. What do the British, Irish, Aussies, New Zealanders, and South Africans call Band-Aids? Plasters.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and Words You Never Heard has been brought to you by the Bariatric Surgery Center of Dallas.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to the show. I am so excited I have Annie Pryor, Mommy Genius, with me this morning. We have so much to talk about. First of all, let's talk about your wonderful invention, and then we'll get onto the stomach flu and your book. I love your drying rack. You know what? You can put jewelry on it. You can put bottles. There's so many things. How did you ever come up with this?
Thank you so much. Well, it all started when I had two little ones in bibs. I had a 3-year-old boy, 3.5, and my little girl who was like 6 months eating baby food. And so after lunch, they both wore bibs. So after lunch, after each meal, I had 2 bibs covered in food. And I'd put them in the laundry and then, maybe not do that load for a couple days. And it got moldy and stinky. Yeah. And I'm throwing bibs out, every day because they got so gross. And then I discovered, okay, there's these real nice rinse-off type bibs, like Bumpkin's bibs. And you just rinse them off, and you can let them dry and use them again. Well, I had nowhere to let it dry, so I just set a towel on the counter and lay the bib out. But, laying down, the lunch bib was not dry by dinner. So after dinner, I had to get clean bibs for dinner. And then after dinner, there's 4 bibs laying on towels on my countertop. And man, this is taking up so much space. If only I could just hang them up to dry. I need a little place right next to the kitchen sink to hang up the baby bibs. And I thought, surely that must exist. I shopped online, I looked at stores, and there was nothing. Nowhere to hang up baby bibs. Nothing was, right. And I thought I simply must invent something. I had no business experience or marketing experience in my life, certainly, but it just had to be done. So I've actually come up with 3 different drying racks so far. My first one, was a little taller and a little bit different, and that was my bib drying rack. And I listened to people's comments. They'd like it to do more than one thing, they said, not just bibs. I'm like, okay, well, I can modify it a little bit. And so the current rack is great for bottles and food storage bags and dish towels and baby bibs and washcloths and, just about anything you need to hang up to dry. So I'm really happy with it.
It's really great. And you know what? It's pretty. The thing is, it's pretty, too. There's all kinds of drying racks out there that are not pretty, and they don't hold the things. I remember having a drying rack years ago, and you'd put the washcloth on it or something that was a fabric, and it would slip off. It's like, what good is this?
Right.
But the way you made it, the way it's structured, it holds things. I love it. And for moms out there listening, you know what? If you have a new baby, if you have a toddler, if your kids are grown up, you have to look at this drying rack. Now, I know there was something on Amazon that it wasn't your rack. Where can people find it when they want to order it? It's on Amazon?
Yes, it is on Amazon. Just search for Mommy Genius Drying Rack on Amazon. And it's also on my website, mommygenius.com. So, and it is, I think, very versatile. And, right now, I still do put a bib on my youngest, but I also use it for my 2 other kids. They're sports water bottles they take to school, and I'm into making a blueberry spinach smoothie every morning, so I put my whole blender pitcher over it. It's sturdy enough to hold that.
You know what? It's great. So how old are your children?
I have a 10-year-old boy, a 7-year-old girl, and a 4-year-old boy.
Well, you're very busy with all of this.
I am, but now finally I'm to the point where my youngest sleeps through the night most of the time now. So I'm, it was only that first 10 years I had to stay awake.
You know what? That's funny. You're the only other person that I heard say that, because I used to say my daughter didn't sleep the first 9 years. She was a terrible sleeper. And it's, the sleep. You have to sleep. When I was talking, before you came on the show, I was talking about mistakes mommies make. And you know what? One of the biggest is that when the babies nap, they don't nap. But you don't know. You never had a baby and you want your house to look nice and you don't want dishes or laundry. But it doesn't matter because you won't care if you've had enough sleep. You'll feel better about everything.
Right. I had trouble napping with my first son. I was just a nervous wreck. And I did it all wrong. I did it right with my other two, but my first son, I had read the Baby Wise book, which I absolutely don't recommend, and thought, that was an old version where he had you letting babies cry it out from the day you brought them home from the hospital.
Yeah, I know that
I
book.
think is terrible because I did that, and I thought, I better put him in his bed, let him go to sleep. So I couldn't take a nap while he was napping. He was crying. So I was just crying too, and, that's just a horrible waste of time. So with the next kids, I would let them fall asleep, then I took a nap too, and I really enjoyed the other two, but I definitely regret letting my little first baby cry so much, which I never did with my others.
But I'm sure he's fine.
He's fine now, but
I'm sure he doesn't remember, and he's not going to come back to you. It's tough because you don't know. I mean, that's why I wrote my books. And my books came from the fact that I would see so many mothers, and they didn't know what to do, and they'd say there's no instructions, and there aren't. But, there's many parents that swear by Baby Wise. My personal, and this is just my opinion, I agree with you, it's tough. And if you're going to follow Baby Wise, you have to follow it to a T, and you know what? It's not something that I am thrilled with, but again, it's worked for many parents and they like it. But don't say you did it wrong because you didn't know. How do we know?
Well, I just, and I think he's softened up. Like he doesn't even have you starting that cried out for like a month now, not the day you walk home from the hospital. But I don't know. I want people to enjoy their baby. And what's more fun than holding it and kissing a sleeping baby?
Oh, nothing.
Anything? Nothing. I mean, what are you going to, when you're 90 years old, are you going to think, gee, I wish I held and kissed my baby more, or gee, I wish I let them cry it out more? What?
Oh, you're right. You know what? You're so right. And, and it's tough. To listen to your baby cry is tough. I don't care what age they are. You know what? You don't want your baby crying, and they're crying for a reason, unless, I always say this, unless they're like 11 months old, standing up in their crib,
right.
And you hear them cry, and you walk in and they stop. And you walk out and they cry, and you walk in, they've got you. That's the only time that they know. They're smart as they get older. They're always smart. Anyway, so you're very busy. Let's talk about the book. I love this book. It is the cutest thing, and I love the message. And when being an adult reading a children's book, I just wondered, and you know what? For those parents out there, this would be great to put in your Easter baskets. It's about the bunny that couldn't hop. And it's so adorable the way he finds how to hop. But did the big bunny, was he supposed to represent anybody? A dad, a teacher?
Not really. I wrote it and colored all those pictures in 6th grade, so I don't really think I had anyone in particular in mind,
Because it just, as an adult, you know what? When you read this book to your children, they're going to love it. But as an adult, I was looking at it thinking, that's pretty cool because this bunny went to somebody for counsel. And we all like to go to somebody for counseling or support or a shoulder. And I thought, what a great thing. Here's a place where a bunny can even ask their mother to help them. Anyway, I love the book, and it would be great to put in an Easter basket or as a baby gift anytime.
Well, thank you. I really, when I wrote it when I was a kid, I just always wanted to publish it. And back then, it wasn't so easy to publish a book. But now, anyone can publish it. I didn't pay anything. I published it on Amazon using their Create Space program. So any kid can do that. If you have a child who loves to write books and colors lovely pictures, have them work on a book this summer and help them get you need to know a little bit about Photoshop to scan in the pictures and edit them appropriately to the right size. But you could help them assemble a little book and have your child be the author of a book in, 6th grade or whatever age they are.
And you're so right about publishing books. And I hear a lot of people say, I wish I could write a book. And, you probably will tell them the same thing that you just said. Anybody can write a book. And if you have an interest, you know what? It's a great thing to do. And Amazon does make it really easy, because I'm working on a Binky book about a little girl giving up her Binky. And you know what? Hopefully that will be out in the next year. But it is easy. It's really easy to do. So what a great summer project. I think you ought to put that on your site.
I think it would just be great for kids, and it'd be fun for them, an accomplishment. I have a published book, and friends and family could buy it. They could use the money to start saving for college. I think that's a good plan.
I think so, too. Put it on your website. Put it on Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
Start doing it, but not yet, because we have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the next part of the show. We're going to talk about stomach viruses. And, I just want to say Annie is a mom, and she has I'm looking for the paper. You can probably tell me this. She has her PhD in biochemistry.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're not talking from a medical standpoint. Neither Annie or myself are doctors, but we do both have children, and they do get stomach bugs, and we get stomach bugs. And I thought it would be really interesting to talk about this, because there's so much hype, with all the diseases and everything lately. And a simple stomach bug, you can avoid it by doing certain things, and then sometimes you can't. But there's so much to learn about it. I was reading from your website. I mean, you have all the questions, you answer everything. So basically, we're going to talk about it from a biochemist with a PhD, yes. And we're going to talk about it as moms when we come back from the commercial break. But, I think my first question is going to be, how do you know that your little one has a stomach bug? I mean, starting from baby to toddler, because they cry. Some of them hold their stomachs. So when we come back from our break, that's going to be my first commercial, because I know, I can remember years ago, so many times one of my kids would say, Mommy, my tummy hurts. And I would thought, the first thing is constipation. Every mother says that.
Right. Yeah. But go sit on the potty.
That's right. But we will be right back to talk about stomach bugs.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more help. For help, my baby came without instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Baby love, my baby love, I need you, I need you.
Welcome to Geraldine Tegelove Live, the show that shares with you the secrets of redefining, reinventing, and rebuilding your life. Having pulled herself from the rubble of financial ruin and having gone on to create a highly successful career, Geraldine has become an expert in the art of transformation. She believes that it doesn't matter where you are right now, how overwhelmed you feel, or how impossible the task of turning your life around may seem. You can do it. Stay tuned as metaphysician, international best-selling author, and intuitive Geraldine Tegelove gives you the inner understanding and the outer practical how-to to create your amazing life. Gain a fresh perspective on how to redefine, reinvent, and rebuild your life. Join Geraldine Tegelove live every Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the TogiNet Radio Network. This is the TogiNet Radio Network, radio with a cutting edge.
In today's business world, a helping hand or idea that doesn't come with an invoice is a treasured find. And if that happens to you, then you need to pay it forward to keep other entrepreneurs from making mistakes or getting a raw deal. It's called Paying It Forward with Josephine Gerasi, Wednesday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central. Josephine is going to have the guests describe their accomplishments, the lessons they've learned, both good and bad, and then sharing those pieces of knowledge as we create a movement of paying it forward. For more information about Josephine, her business, and background, you can go to mymomknowsbest.com. Josephine Gerasi has always been a problem solver. She saw this need and has turned it into a movement. It's Paying It Forward, with tips, tools, and advice and hard lessons learned. These pieces of knowledge can make a huge difference for you, your business, and others. So join us for Paying It Forward with Josephine Gerasi, Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I am talking to my wonderful guest, Annie Pryor, mommy genius, invented a terrific drying rack. She wrote a book when she was in 6th grade, and she also has her PhD in biochemistry, and we are going to be talking about the stomach bug. Before the break, I said I wanted to ask you, how do you know, you have 3 children, how do you know when it's a stomach bug or, that C word? We always put our kids on the potty when they say they have a tummy ache, and you don't know if they're constipated or, they actually do have something else going on.
Well, you are absolutely right. Kids say they have a tummy ache a couple times a week. And it is, hard to tell at first, So the first thing most of us do is say, go sit on the potty, because there's a good chance they have to poop. So sometimes it's just they go to the bathroom, they're fine, and you don't have to worry about it. Other times, their tummy hurts, it hurts bad, they don't want to eat. Then you start to get a little concerned about what may be coming. And, of course, rarely does anything happen before 2 o'clock in the morning. Stomach bugs always prefer the middle of the night just to make sure Mom doesn't get any sleep.
That's right.
So
Unfortunately.
If they start having diarrhea or throwing up, then you've got to be, first assume it's a stomach virus and take proper precautions, because those are the most contagious things. Now, it might not be a stomach virus. It could be strep throat sometimes causes throwing up. Influenza could cause throwing up, a food allergy. There are lots of other things. Too much mucus from a cold or ear infection can give kids a tummy ache and make them throw up. But always first assume, it's a stomach virus, get your disposable gloves on and get the other kids away, because every tiny microscopic speck of vomit that flies around the house contains a million viruses that can infect everybody else.
Hey, you know what? Our friend Josephine that invented Glovies, that would be a good thing to use when there's a stomach bug.
Oh, yes.
Check out the Glovies.
Yes.
Also, something else, my kids when they were little, especially my daughter, she would always get a tummy ache when she had a bladder infection, which I would never think of.
Right, that's true. If they have a fever, they say anything about it hurts when I pee or, anything, it's always safe to take them to the doctor or call the doctor to make sure it's nothing worse. I mean, part of it, some kids can seem so sick when they're throwing up, and it scares you. And, if you knew, okay, it's just a virus, it'll go away, then it wouldn't be quite as scary, but we always worry, is it something else? Their appendix is rupturing, or they have some sort of blockage, an intestinal blockage, or something else terrifying wrong. So, when in doubt, always, call the doctor. There are great resources like Doctor on Demand. It's an app, or you can video chat with the doctor on the computer.
No,
and tell them what's going on.
Let me ask you a question. Is Doctor on Demand the one that you have to wait an hour and a half, and then somebody comes and they type something, and if you don't like it, you have to pay again?
No. I've never waited more than 2 minutes. Doctor on Demand is wonderful. I've used it many times. It's best to register for it now. Get it on your phone. Get it on the computer. You fill out some information. They want all your kids' names and everything. And during the heat of the moment, you won't be able to remember all of that. So you won't be able to remember birthdays. So get all set up now. So if there's an emergency of any sort, you could quickly contact a doctor. Now, of course, if it's a real emergency, you call 911. But if you're not sure if it's an emergency, using Doctor on Demand is great.
I'm looking at the site now. It's a great site. And I know, even for yourself, not just for your kids, if you have a question, there's nothing like hearing back from a grumpy doctor on the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning when it was really just, something minor.
Right. And I've used it myself. I had a bad sinus infection for 3 weeks, and I wanted a Z-Pack, and I, as fun as it would be to take all my kids with me to the urgent care and try to get them to not touch anything, it's much easier to just do doctor on demand.
Can they call in scripts for you?
Yep, they call in prescriptions for you.
Wow, that's great to know. I'm going to have to share that. So what do people have to know about stomach bugs? And what's the difference between just a bug? Is there a difference between a stomach bug and the stomach flu? We always hear the flu and it sounds terrible.
I know. It is confusing. Influenza is the real flu. So calling it the stomach flu is, technically incorrect, but it's just a nickname that people always call it. Stomach bug, bug could be a virus, a bacteria. There are bacteria that cause throwing up and diarrhea. There are viruses that cause it. So, you can call it, common names are stomach virus, norovirus, stomach bug, 24-hour bug, stomach flu, intestinal virus, winter vomiting disease. All of those refer to the tummy bug. We don't call it the flu. The flu is influenza, which is not at all related, although you can occasionally throw up from the flu. There are also, vomit and poop have millions of viruses, like every speck. So, and when someone throws up, those little particles can fly all around the room. So it's very important to clean carefully because the stomach viruses are hard to kill, and they can live for 2 weeks on household surfaces. So that's why they spread around the house so fast and so easily. If any of those little viruses, get in someone else's mouth, that person will get sick. It usually takes 24 to 72 hours after you swallow the virus to get sick, but sometimes it can take a week. I've had it where, in our house where, boy, I thought I cleaned perfectly, and 1 week later, my little one comes down with it after my first time. I don't even know where he found that virus.
So can the viruses live on everything from toys to the carpeting? Are there places that the viruses can't live?
Nope. I mean, nothing, scalding hot. Heat will kill it. And they can live in water. They can live in the freezer. So, yeah, they survive very well. They've adapted to withstand the stomach acid, so they can withstand a lot. And it's important to know that a person is contagious for at least 3 days after symptoms have stopped. So their, poop will still have viruses in it probably for a couple weeks. So they need to, wipe carefully, wash hands, keep those toilets clean, and stay away from other people as much as possible while you're contagious. The biggest thing I want people to know is, if your kid's in preschool, keep them home a couple days, even after they're well, because they are still contagious. And absolutely don't prepare food for anyone else. I get so many calls, I had someone had a stomach virus, but still managed to make the cupcakes that they promised to bring into the class.
Oh, my goodness.
That is terrible. Or I had someone say, my child was throwing up and hanging onto my leg, but I still baked all the snacks for the party. Oh, great, thank you. Going to give everybody an illness because, you're taking care of your kid. Even if you think your hands are clean, maybe some viruses got on their clothes and are now on your hands. And, it's just too dangerous. Don't make any food for anybody for 2 weeks after you get over a stomach virus.
That's such good information, especially with the preschools. I mean, when you go into the preschools, or for parents that are going to be checking out preschools, make sure you ask them how many times a day the children wash their hands. Do they wash them before snack? Do they wash them when they come in? Do they wash them after? Certainly, do they wash them when they use the potty? And do they have warm water? The cold water, Annie, cold water doesn't get the germs off, does it?
Well, I don't know that it's any worse. I mean, warm is obviously better.
Right,
hot
not
is
hot.
Not necessary,
yeah,
but
not hot.
Soaping up and rinsing it off is probably fine. As long as they do, if they do a 1-second hand washing, their thumbs didn't even get wet. That's not quite as effective as a thorough hand washing.
And it's right.
But my kids' school, they don't wash their hands before lunch. There's no time. And I beg the teachers, is there any way they can wash hands before lunch? And people look at me like I'm from Mars, that I would even request such an absurd thing. Like, really? Hand washing before eating? Nobody's heard of that?
I wonder if the health department has anything to do with that, because we have such definite rules about hand washing. I've set up a lot of infant and toddler rooms and worked with the health department, and they will come in and they will make sure that there are 2 sinks in every room. If there are diapers, you have to have a sink for hand washing, and you have to have a diaper sink or a food sink. I mean, not the diaper sink is not the same one you use with the food, but
right.
It's so important. What about using the hand sanitizers for the kids? I mean, I know for myself, I carry hand sanitizer in my car, and I don't care where I've been. I don't care if I've been out of the car for 3 seconds. Every time I get back in my car, I put the sanitizer on.
Well, and that is so much better than nothing, especially when you can't wash your hands. And there are some really good hand sanitizers. I've actually done a lot of experiments testing them myself. There's only a few hand sanitizers that have been tested and kill norovirus, which is, one of the worst stomach viruses. And a lot of them don't kill it. So, in my opinion, why use a hand sanitizer if it's not going to kill norovirus? What are you trying to kill, just good bacteria? So there are some really good ones I list on my website. There's a Clorox hand sanitizer spray that you can get on Amazon, which is great. And my very favorite is Xylast Antiseptic. It works the best. I've done experiments, just, all I can test for at home is bacteria, but the Xylast Antiseptic even works when your hands are, like, dirty from the park or something with actual dirt. Because a lot of the hand sanitizers, like just Purell, if there's dirt on your hands because, your kids at the playground, they're covered in dirt, it hardly kills a thing. It can't penetrate dirt. So, but Xylast can penetrate the dirt. So having a good hand sanitizer is extremely helpful.
But just, I have to add to this. I don't mean to interrupt you, but if you have a little one, do not give them the hand sanitizer to play with in the car. There have been instances where kids have decided to drink it.
Right.
They don't know what it is. But on that note, still use hand sanitizer. Just keep your kids safe. We will be right back.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Have you ever wondered if you're normal or why you feel distant from your partner? Then join us for Sex Talk with Lou with your host Lou Paget on TogiNet Wednesday nights 9/8 Central. Do you want to recreate a truly connected relationship or wonder, how do I tell my kids about things? Join Lou Paget, one of the world's best-selling authors in the field of sexuality, a certified sex educator and sought-after expert for all media, and her renowned expert guests as they discuss anything and everything about sex that impacts our lives and our families' lives. For more on Lou, check out her website, loupaget.com. This is the show where the best experts in the field of sexuality and sexual health can finally give you the answer to that question. Join us for Sex Talk with Lou with your host, Lou Paget, Wednesday nights at 9/8 Central on TogiNet.com.
Reaching out from the heartland of the United States with quality programming, this is TogiNet Radio.
Do you want to get a contact high? Tune in for fun, inspiration, and motivation every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Learn how to maximize your mojo and just say no to the status quo. Get inspired and motivated by a fun-loving coach who knows what it's like to get through this thing called life. with your High on Life coach, Audra Irwin, each Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time and 12 noon Eastern.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, I can't believe we're up to the last quarter of the show. It goes so quickly, Annie. I'm going to have you come back. But before we talk a little more about stomach virus, tell my listeners where they can get all your products, where they can find you if they have a question about the stomach bug.
All righty. Well, my website for the stomach bug information is stopthestomachflu.com. And my email is on there. They can email me questions. I also have my website, mommygenius.com, where you can see my drying racks. And my Bunny That Couldn't Hop book is just available on Amazon, so you can just search Amazon for the Bunny That Couldn't Hop.
Well, thanks for sharing all that. You know what? Everybody should get the drawing rack, get the bunny book, talk to Annie. I mean, you're just great. I'm so happy you're on the show today. So let's go back a little bit to the stomach bug. What do you think about essential oils? That's the big thing now. Can they help? I love using essential oils for, more than a few things. But what do you think? People talk about it for the stomach bug or cleaning.
Did you know I started doing experiments with essential oils?
No.
I just started a few weeks ago, and it has taken off my website was getting 40,000 visitors a day.
Wow.
So I am not an essential oil expert at all. I have not used them, but I have done a lot of experiments just seeing what cleaning products and hand sanitizers kill bacteria. And so people have asked me, okay, well, these essential oils like thieves, they say they kill bacteria. Can you just test them and we'll see if that's true? And I thought, sure, why not? I thought about 50 people would be interested in those results. And I put them up on my website, and boy, they are getting tremendous, interest. So I did show that the Thieves Oil from Young Living and On Guard by doTERRA and the Amio Pro Shield, those oils that say they kill germs, really do kill bacteria. They perform very well in my experiments. I can't tell you if, they cure the stomach flu or create world peace or every other thing they're advertised for, but they are not lying about the germ killing. At least in my experiments, they certainly worked well against bacteria. So that's all on my website. On my Stop the Stomach Flu website, I have a page called, Do Essential Oils Like Thieves Really Kill Germs? And that's where most of the information is. And it's been very interesting. And a lot of them certainly smell good. I have tons more to test. People are asking me, I want to test oregano and a lot of things, but all I can really do is show if they kill bacteria. I can't, tell you if it will lower your blood pressure or whatever else.
Oh, and you wonder too, we're all different and you don't know. I am a fan of it. I use essential oils for certain things, but again, I am not the expert on essential oils either. I know when I go to the acupuncturist, she always puts an essential oil on me, either it's for relaxing or for your immune system, and I don't know. I feel better. That's all that matters. I'm not taking anything in my mouth like a pill. So anyway, that's pretty interesting. I want to go off on a different subject for another second because I don't want to run out of time. Because you're a mom, what's your favorite parenting tip? Do you have one you can share?
Well, let's see. My favorite tip is, get as many kisses and hugs as you can possibly can until they start walking and run away from you. I think, as long as they get all the kisses and hugs you can possibly get, they'll turn out okay, even if you didn't do everything else perfectly. But I remember with my first son, I wasn't working. I didn't have any other kids. I kissed him so much, I actually got a callus on my lip. I I just sat around all day kissing him.
It's so hard
And-
not to kiss your little ones. They're so
Right.
cute.
Oh,
And you
yeah,
just
I gobble them up.
the love that you have for your child, you can't explain until you have a child. It's
Right.
different.
So,
it's
it
different
is. It's-
love. That's a great tip. I love that tip, and it's true.
All the kisses and hugs you can possibly get, because once they're bigger, I mean, I don't kiss my 10-year-old's tummy anymore,
All you hear is,
So
oh,
you gotta
Mom.
Right, so you got to get all that, eat them all up until one of their first sentences should be, stop kissing. That's too many kisses. All my kids, that was one of their first sentences at 2. That means you did it right.
That's right. And you know what? We're all perfect. However we do it, we're all perfect. You know what? It's great being a parent. So I just wanted to ask you that because I didn't want to run out of time. Also, I wanted another thing. What do you think? I've had parents tell me that, when my child has a tummy ache, they'll go, do you ever use a heating pad on your baby's, not on your baby, on your toddler's tummy or a little older child? What do you think about that?
I have never done that either. I think that certainly might help if it's like gas pains or something. I'm not sure that I would like that. I always kind of want something cold on my tummy if it hurts.
Yeah, you know what? I guess it's personal.
Right. I'm not sure that, that would help or not, honestly.
I think lying down and just hugging your child or reading a book with him or her when they don't feel good, that would really help. Maybe, I don't know about the heating pad either. I'm not quite sure. I just wanted I wanted your opinion about that if you ever did it.
Right. I do not do that, but I really do want people to know when your kids have a stomach bug, keep them home an extra day. Because even if stomach bugs aren't a big deal to you, they're really a big deal to some people. I mean, you send them back to class, oh, what? They throw up in class, get a few other kids sick. Well, one of those other kids' moms might be going through chemo, or there are kids with metabolic disorders where their bodies cannot process fat. And when they can't eat, they either die or have to go to if they need medical, they have to go get checked into the hospital.
Exactly.
And use IVs to stay alive. So if a stomach bug, who cares? It's a stomach bug. Well, it's a big deal for some people. My good friend's grandfather died in the nursing home from a stomach virus. He was 95, obviously not in great shape anyway, but the thing that pushed him over the edge was the stomach virus. So, and obviously never go visit anyone in a nursing home until you've been well from a stomach virus for 2 weeks.
Right, or anything else.
I get calls from people all the time who work at restaurants, and they're required to go into work even though they're throwing up and having diarrhea. And the health department says that's not allowed, but a lot of managers would still, get them in trouble if they didn't show up. And that's why these things spread. You don't want someone with diarrhea and handling your salad. That's never
you
a
don't.
good
And
idea.
I have to add, what about the teachers? When the teachers get sick, then we as parents get upset because they have a substitute and the substitute doesn't necessarily know your child, and it can kind of be a mess. Also, speaking from the teacher's side of it, I've had many children, they'll come to school and they'll have terrible diarrhea, and I'll call the parents, and of course the first thing many will say is, oh, they're teething. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't care if they're teething. If a child has diarrhea, do not send them to school. You're going to have that phone call. I can guarantee you it's easier to keep them home than to have to leave work at 11 o'clock to go pick your child up.
Right, and I don't buy that teething causes terrible diarrhea anyway thing.
No, you know what? And doctors have said that. But anyway, we're not doctors. What about drinking juices and black raspberry and grape juice and all kinds of juices to ward off the stomach flu? Is that true or false?
There is a lot of that. I've gotten I'm collecting so many stories from people. Some people say, oh, I drank the grape juice and it worked. But I have plenty of stories of people who drank the grape juice and it did not work. And they were the sickest of the family throwing up purple grape juice. So I don't, I tried, when no one in my house was sick, I tried, all right, 3 cups of grape juice a day. All right, I'll try that just to see, because that seems like an awfully lot, like, can my stomach handle that on a good day? And it could not. I got it through a day and a half of that, and I just there was rumbling. There was just it was intestinal distress. So my body can't drink 3 cups of grape juice on a good day. So if you ever think you want to try that, do it when no one's sick, because how would you know, if someone's sick and you start drinking the grape juice for the first time, it's very likely to make you not feel well.
You know what?
You won't know what's wrong with you.
I'm sitting here holding my stomach as you're saying that. I don't have a stomach bug, but I'm sitting here holding my stomach. Well, on that note, the tip of the day is don't send your children to school if they have tummy bugs. Lots of hugs and kisses. Stay away 2 weeks from nursing homes if you have a stomach bug, and definitely don't bake those cupcakes for at school if you think you're sick. Thank you so much.
Or bring a meal to a new mother.
Right, or bring a meal, or even go visit the new mother. Anyway,
right.
Annie Pryor, thank you so much for being on my show. I want to have you back again. You're just great, and I will put all your information on my website, mybestparentingadvice.com, and on baby instructions once it's fixed. So you have a wonderful day, and I hope your weather stays beautiful and all the snow melts.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, so much great information about stomach bugs. And I will put all the information on there, stopthestomachflu.com, and the books. And anyway, Annie's just wonderful. It was great. She's mommygenius.com. Next week, my guest will be Paula Rizzo. She wrote a wonderful book called Listful Thinking about making lists. I know you'll love her tips. I read her book, and I'll tell you what, it's helped me every day with my list making. You know, that thing you don't want to do keeps showing up. So I know you'll love hearing Paula Rizzo. Also, as I was talking about babies hatching in the spring, I wanted to let you know, I'm tooting my own horn a little today, that I offer in-home telephone and video consultations if you have any issues that are non-medical with your babies or toddlers, crying, sleeping, eating, biting, tantrums, picking a preschool. Makes a great gift certificate for a new mom. Go to mybestparentingadvice.com or babyinstructions@cox.net, and you can contact me and get a gift certificate or buy a book. Anyway, I thought I would share that because lots of babies in the spring. Also, don't forget to look at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest. I just added a couple new posts on mybestparentingadvice.com again, and listen to all our wonderful shows on TogiNet. I'd like to leave you today with a little humor. Here are 2 definitions of a toddler. A toddler is a small creature who is only hungry after you throw away the food she refused to eat the first 80 times you offered it to her. You know that one. A toddler is a tiny human who sees nothing wrong with eating a string cheese fully nude. And remember, start each day with a thankful heart. It will truly make you smile. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.